How you guys doing? It's your boy, Bobby Pastrami, Bobby Cutlets. Bobby, how you doing? Bobby, how you do-we? Now, we should have came up with a better name for this channel than Average Bob. I don't know. I guess all the other ones were taken. But here we are coming into another matchup for the Giants versus the Saints this Sunday off the back of a great win versus the Packers where Tommy DeVito led a game-winning drive for a Randy Bullock field goal to beat the Packers on Monday night. And on today's episode, we're bringing in a special guest, Tommy Nutcrackers. Tommy, welcome to the show. Hey, Bob. Happy to be here. How you fucking doing? I'm good, Tommy Nutcrackers. Thanks for joining. I really appreciate all the stuff that Tommy DeVito's been doing for the Italian people and for the people of New Jersey and just blue-collar workers around the tri-state area. Yeah, we appreciate the fucking support. We really do. They've been showing Tommy DeVito's family a lot. I love the guy with the 1920s Goodfellas hat. But if anyone, and I mean anyone, messes with the fucking DeVitos, you gotta go through me, Tommy Nutcrackers. I'll be cracking more than just fucking nuts in my mouth. Easy, Tommy Nutcrackers. Everyone loves the DeVitos. I'm not sure why you would want to crush more than anything in your nutcracking mouth. But hey, that's good to know. You know, the DeVitos have back from, probably, I don't want to say mafia related, but the Plumbers Union, stuff like that. But it's good to know that they do have a real-life Nutcracker that does have their back as well. And Tommy Nutcracker is going to come back at the end of this episode to give some of his picks of the week, which seem to be locks. So I wouldn't say locks, Bob. Fucking locks don't exist outside of hardware stores. All right. Easy, Tommy Nutcrackers. We'll talk to you later. I mean, I will say it's been absolutely so much fun to have the DeVito clan at all of these games, and when they show Tommy's parents in the crowd, I still think of how I daydream about how good Mrs. DeVito's chicken cutlets are. I would do anything to get an invite over there to, if it's not a warm chicken cutlet, some Italian Godfather sandwich could do as well, because those are the way to my heart. But let's talk about this upcoming matchup versus the Saints. The Saints are led by quarterback Derek Carr, who's been really banged up this season, and they did have a nice win last weekend versus the Panthers, but again, the Panthers are just terrible and everyone's beating up on them, and they took Bryce Young with their first overall pick and he doesn't look that good. So it goes to show you can take someone so high, but if the team around him stinks and the coaching stinks, like, what is the upside of that? So it's really tough to develop these young guys that, when people say tank for the first overall pick and then you take Bryce Young, it's like, what are you doing? You're almost setting your franchise back a little bit. I don't want to go too into the weeds for this week's matchup, but I think one of the big concerns for myself watching the Saints play is the play of Alvin Kamara. Alvin Kamara is one of the best players in this league over the last few years, and I don't think he gets enough credit. I'm going to post or show the stats between him and Christian McCaffrey, and you see Christian McCaffrey everywhere. He's always in an MVP conversation, even if he is on the terrible Panthers, for example, and their stats are very, very similar. He's in national commercials, and Alvin Kamara is, I think, very underrated in that regard, that they have very similar stats, but Kamara is, he's a game-changing player. So the Giants are going to have to figure out ways to get to Derek Carr early in this one and make him make quick passes, because outside of the backfield, Kamara can make a lot of receptions and get upfield fast and be just as dangerous as Christian McCaffrey. And I think he deserves that respect and commands that respect. And if the Giants don't give him that respect, then what do you mean? You're talking about respect already? Tommy, get out of here. But the Giants need to respect the power and creativity and playmaking ability of Alvin Kamara. Because I think Derek Carr, I don't think he's obviously the long-term fit for that team. Someone who's getting their ass kicked on a weekly basis. And you do see that reflected in when a couple weeks ago they said he had a concussion and broke a couple ribs, and Jameis had to come in, and Jameis was doing Jameis thing, just literally just throwing crazy passes, and Olave makes just insane grabs in the end zone for touchdowns. And that brings me to my next point. We always talk about LSU as sort of wide receiver U, as you have premium guys in the league right now, like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson, and you had Odell for those years. But I think the Ohio State wide receiver guys in the NFL are just as capable as them. And maybe they don't get enough credit because they're on worse teams and they're not getting the ball thrown to them as much, or maybe worse quarterback play, I guess is the word I'm looking for, because Olave is great, Garrett Wilson's great, Smith and Jigba, who's getting started on the Seahawks, and then a top 2 or 3 pick in this draft. I don't think he'll go number 1 because it's hard to take a wide receiver number 1. Marvin Harrison Jr. is a top pick in this draft. So don't sleep on the Ohio State wide receivers in the NFL at this point in time, because they're just as capable and will have just as strong of careers as the guys from LSU. I do want to highlight, though, going into this game, Tommy DeVito having his success is, and I think it's due to a lot of the reasons what we've been seeing is that he's not turning the ball over, and especially turning the ball over in crucial situations. The last few years, Giants fans have seen Danny Dimes never able to look off his first wide receiver, making tons of terrible decisions, sacks for fumbles, and last week on Monday night, this was the first game of the season and probably in a while where the Giants didn't give up a single sack. So kudos to Mike Kafka and the Giants for figuring this out. Rewatching the highlights of the game, for a lot of the Giants plays to be successful, they were constantly using play action. So to do that, you have to get Saquon involved early on to set it up. The play action is opening up the passing for Tommy DeVito, and Tommy DeVito is also being moved around in the pocket. If the throw's not there, tuck it and run. If you can't tuck it and run, throw it away. And Tommy DeVito's not afraid to throw it away instead of taking stupid sacks. So he's learning, he's progressing, he's getting better as time goes on. And the Giants are figuring out ways to use this to their advantage. It's also allowing wide receivers to start playing better to their skill set as well. So I'm interested to see what Tommy DeVito could do inside of the Superdome. So bringing back Tommy Nutcrackers for his picks of the week. I'm taking the fucking Giants plus the 5.5. Giants money line. Alvin Kamara touchdown. Thanks, Tommy Nutcracker. I'm going to also sprinkle an over on this game as well. Giants Saints indoor just screams tons of points scored. It's just what usually happens in those sorts of environments. And you're getting a great matchup between Alvin Kamara and Saquon, which should lead to a feast matchup rather than a famine one. Oh, and it looks like Tommy Nutcracker wants to say one final thing to the Saints fans. Instead of shrimp gumbo or fucking jambalaya, you motherfuckers are going to be eating our cutlets. Let's go, baby. Tommy DeVito. Tommy DeVito in the dome is a cheat code. Never a doubt. This is for Jersey. This is for New York. This is for America. Giants by a billion. Thank you, Tommy Nutcracker. And thank you guys for watching. Have a great rest of your day and enjoy it, because we don't know when the Tommy DeVito train's going to stop rolling. But for right now, it's fun.